Tonight on WTOP-10 Nightly News, a major anti-Trump protest in Oswego, what their main message was.
And funding threats to critical Oswego preservation and fishing, how residents are responding.
Plus, a ceremony to honor 6 heroes whose actions have saved hundreds.
WTOP-10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Nasir Meikle.
And I'm Madeline Cummings.
Protesters gathered on Bridge Street for the 8th weekend in a row yesterday. People nationwide have joined together in protest against the Trump administration, including many Oswego residents. Bridge Street has been an active protest spot for the last several weeks. That is where indivisible Oswego County has been hosting weekly rallies.
Each week's rally is centered around a different theme, and this week's theme was healthcare. The rally was in protest to the many cuts that medical research and federal health grants are facing. Even though the theme was healthcare, protesters held up signs also talking about immigration, DOGE cuts, and LGBTQ rights. Cars passing by honked their horns in support. Indivisible Oswego County plans on continuing these rallies.
Now moving to Syracuse, over 400 people gathered at Syracuse University to attend a hands-off protest against the Trump administration's defunding of education and targeting of international students. Without warning, 3 SU students had their visas revoked. They are among the hundreds of international students nationwide whose legal status has been terminated by the federal government. The SU Latinx organization has launched a petition to ensure the protection of international students.
Local union leaders held a protest outside of U.S. Representative Claudia Tenney's Oswego office regarding her support of Medicare and Medicaid cuts. The 6 leaders, which included the president of the CNY Area Labor Federation, questions Tenney's support for a new budget bill and urged her to put working people ahead of billionaires. With over 33% of residents on Medicaid, many Oswego County residents are directly affected by this issue.
Lake Ontario National Marine Sanctuary has designated to protect the environment in 2024.
The sanctuary puts a special focus on interactions between human activity and maritime environment. WTOP-10 reporter Eliza Hopkins has the story.
Thanks, guys. The Lake Ontario National Marine Sanctuary hosted its first virtual advisory council meeting on Tuesday, where they discussed a number of concerns from Oswego locals. The sanctuary was founded in 2024 in efforts to maintain the lake's historical and archaeological integrity. With recent cuts to federal funding, it's been quite an unpredictable time for the sanctuary. Representatives from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration addressed these concerns, saying that they are fearful for the future, but still believe in the sanctuary's future.
Leaders that have been around for a number of years have planned for the future as best they can, but at some point it is going to catch up. And we're just, again, we're just going to have to do what we can, and also lean on partners, other folks, other federal agencies, state agencies in the region, picking up the slack where possible.
The meeting was open to the public for questions and comments, and it allowed community members to get to know those behind the organization. The board also went into deeper detail about some of the projects coming this summer. Now, back to the desk.
Thank you, Eliza. In other Lake Ontario news, a research ship will spend the second half of the year in Oswego to collect information about shipwrecks. The Lake Ontario National Marine Sanctuary's remote-controlled project will use an advanced camera to map shipwrecks that are between 250 and 650 feet deep. The Lake Guardian vessel will patrol an area of over 1,700 miles with 41 known shipwrecks and 1 aircraft.
An expert-led talk about the history of the nature study movement is coming to SUNY Oswego's Rice Creek next weekend. Former Environmental Protection Agency Public Information Officer Paul Knittel will discuss the late 1800s to early 1900s movement that pushed for school children to be taught using the outside environment. Next Saturday's 2 p.m. event is part of the Rice Creek Association's Reflection Series and is free to everyone. Speaking of nature, we've been experiencing a very large range of temperatures and conditions in Oswego recently.
We sure have, Nasir. Let's take a live look outside to our Storm Team 10 meteorologist Ryan Murphy with more on the current and future weather conditions. Ryan?
And thank you guys. I'm outside the Murano Campus Center and I can tell you it is a bit chilly out here right now. And it was like that this morning, but the sun came out and we had temperatures in the mid 60s. Now it stayed pretty clear out and that carried on into the evening where we had a really nice sunset. I hope you took the opportunity to go down to the lake, check out the sunset, because you may have noticed that the waves are nice and flat and the sun is reflecting off the water just like a mirror. Now as for tomorrow, it's going to stay nice and clear. We're going to have temperatures in the mid 60s. Now, I'm pretty cold. Madeline this year, I don't know why you guys keep letting me come out here without a jacket on. Please yell at me next time I do. I can't keep doing that. Back to you guys at the desk.
Hey man, you're the weatherman. You know what you should be wearing when you go outside. But thank you very much. Oswego Health is recognizing the lives and legacies of 6 local organ, eye, and tissue donors. Last week's flag-raising ceremony brought together the families of 6 donors whose final contributions helped over 450 people live. The event was part of National Donate Life Month and also a reminder that over 800 people in upstate New York are in need of organ donations.
The Oswego County Legislature has recognized April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month during its monthly meeting. The proclamation was presented to the Oswego County Department of Social Services and community partner representatives who work on the issue. DSS Commissioner Lee Sullivan said that it takes comprehensive cooperation to stop child abuse and neglect and urged those at risk or knowing someone at risk to reach out to the department.
A possible hazing incident involving the West Hill High School boys lacrosse team is being investigated by the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office. The allegations involve players on the team, but no arrests have been made yet, and police declined to provide more details. The team's varsity game against Golden Hill High School on Saturday was canceled.
The Trump administration is suing Rochester, New York over its sanctuary city policies. The administration filed the lawsuit on Thursday in U.S. District Court claiming the city's policies interfere with and discriminate against the federal government's enforcement of federal immigration law. The suit stems from an incident in March when Rochester police responded to a request for backup by Border Patrol agents during a traffic stop.
When WTOP-10 Nightly News continues, detailed insights into immigration policies in the new administration.
All that and more right after this quick break.
If you like action, romance,
If you're watching this,
and highbrow humor,
surface is this.
Floor. Minch did not legitimately put his head in the toilet.
there's only one place to turn. Tune in to new episodes of
Oh boy!
only on WTOP.
Look at the number of disasters in the U.S. Chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I had to eat a raw egg on Chris's dormitory floor.
I currently don't have any federal pending charges.
You know what you never did? You never walked to Walmart, Chris. That's my co-host. This is for making me eat roast Pop-Tarts. It's showtime, Chris. Come on.
I want to be on the air for that. I got a couple things to say.
No.
Spin the wheel. Oh, you got censorship.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to...
And welcome back to WTOP-10. I'm meteorologist Ryan Murphy with your local weather forecast. Now we're going to start off with the song of the day, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma by Luke Combs. Now if you're wondering why I got a song about tornadoes up on here, that's because our area actually has a chance for that. That's right, Tuesday evening here in New York, which we never get tornadoes here, we actually are going to have conditions that are favorable for tornadoes. So you might want to look out for that, maybe if you want to chase. Now looking at our live satellite and radar, you can see over our area it's nice and clear. There's no rain, there's no clouds. It's an overall pretty clear, nice night. Now tomorrow is going to be nice and warm, and it's a great opportunity to throw a little something on the grill, maybe some burgers, maybe some dogs, whatever you feel. Now I'd say around 5 o'clock is your best time to do that. You have a high temperature of 62 degrees, but if you want to wait till the evening here at 7 o'clock, it also will be nice at 58 degrees. Now looking at our futurecast, for wind gusts, you can see tomorrow it won't be as windy, but Tuesday it'll get very windy starting off in the morning there, and that's going to continue like that throughout the day, and that's going to be favorable as we have many thunderstorms during that day. Now for our futurecast, you can see here there are no rain, no clouds, anything like that on Monday, but Tuesday morning some rain will roll on in, and we'll have some consistent showers, and it would also lead to some thunderstorms. Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, it's going to rain a lot, and especially in that Syracuse, and even though there's no rain here, it's still favorable for some tornadoes. That's right. So you might want to be on the lookout for that, especially if you're commuting. Might be something that could be a bit inconvenience. Now, currently it's 45 degrees out. It's a bit chilly outside, so if you're going outside, put a jacket on. I made the mistake of not doing that a second ago. But tonight, temperatures are going to drop on down to 38 degrees. Some clouds are going to roll on in, but they will move on out tomorrow. It will be nice and warm. The sun will be out all day, and we'll have a high of 62 degrees. Now, taking a look at the extended futurecast here, you can see for the rest of the week, it's going to be relatively nice, except for Wednesday there. For some reason, we got a curveball. But Thursday, Friday, we'll have temperatures in the low 60s and a pretty nice weekend. Even though it'll be cloudy, it'll be pretty warm, and overall, that's really nice. That's all I have for my full forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. On Thursday, the Trump administration said states could lose transportation funding over a failure to cooperate with federal enforcement efforts.
WTOP-10 reporter Seth Appleby sat down with Dr. Emily Estrada to find out more about what this could mean.
I'm here with Dr. Emily Estrada, a professor here at SUNY Oswego, whose research revolves around immigration studies. Dr. Estrada, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
So just getting right into it, my first question, the Trump administration said recently that they will be cutting transportation funding to states that fail to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement efforts, specifically with some states issuing driver's licenses to those who don't have a legal status. My question to you is the administration legally allowed to withhold this funding to the states that don't comply?
So before I answer the question, I have to give the caveat, I am not a lawyer, I am not a legal scholar, I study immigration, but it's kind of a little bit broader. That being said, we know that the Trump administration is saying that any recipient of federal grant money is obligated to uphold federal policies, federal programs, and that is why they're claiming that they would have potentially the right to withhold transportation money, because the counties and the cities, in accepting that money, are obligated to uphold their priorities, their policies. So that's the Trump administration's stance on this issue. That being said, yesterday, Thursday, April 24th, a federal judge issued an order saying that the Trump administration did not have the right to withhold those monies. On a couple of grounds, they said first, withholding the money would cause irrevocable harm to the people in those cities and in those counties. And then they also said that threatening to withhold the money, or actually withholding the money, would be a federal overreach. And so given the ruling that was issued yesterday, to answer your question very simply, no.
Okay, thank you for your insight. My next question, the economy is always at the top of people's minds these days. What kinds of effects or changes can we see from the tightening of immigration on the economy, for example?
So President Trump has been in office for about 4 months now. It's a little bit early, I think, to get any real economic metrics to kind of think about the causal impact of his immigration policies and the way it's directly impacting the economy. That being said, there are some early signs of what could potentially be coming down the road. Thinking about the role that immigrants have played in our economy, we can think about first, I would say, highly skilled, educated immigrants who come to the United States. They bring their experience, they bring their innovation, and all of that has a significant positive impact on the American economy. We know as of now, in even just a few short months, that applications for student visas, people wanting to come over and study in America, work visas for that highly skilled segment of immigrants, both of those types of visas, applications are on the decline. We've seen a significant decrease in people applying for those visas. And so given that, and then kind of given what the consequence of that will be, we can expect to see some negative economic impact. Right. We should also think about immigrants who come to the United States and fill those lower paying, lower prestige jobs. Many of these immigrants are unauthorized. And we would also anticipate, with a decrease of those immigrants coming into the United States and with the increase of detention and deportation affecting those communities, we would also anticipate some negative economic impact. People working in those positions tend to be very exploitable, they're very vulnerable. Employers just don't have to pay them as much as they have to pay American-born workers. Okay. And those costs then get pushed onto the consumers, right? Yeah. Right. It allows consumers to pay less for their consumer purchases. Right.
When WTOP-10 Nightly News continues, an Oswego concert honoring a musical legend is coming soon.
And a prestigious college is canceling a performance from a famous musician over device comments they made. Don't go away.
Get rid of all the questions.
If only we had someone who could tell us what we should and shouldn't watch.
Well, do we have a show for you? Who are you?
What are you doing in my bed?
On Be Kind and Rewind, we will go through and review all your favorite movie franchises.
And tell you which ones you should and shouldn't watch from the perspective of normal movie fans. Well, be sure to check out Be Kind and Rewind on WTOP-10.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
In entertainment news, a local theater group, the Oswego Players, were honored earlier today with an official city declaration of Oswego Players Day. The decision was an easy one for Mayor Robert Corradino, who praised their 85 years of dedication to the arts and community impact. The ceremony was held at the Francis Marion Brown Theater, where the group has performed since 1962. Founded in 1938, they are one of New York's oldest continuously operating community theaters. Group members expressed gratitude for the recognition and reaffirmed their mission to inspire, entertain, and educate through live theater. The mayor encouraged continued support for the arts and the upcoming theater season.
A big win for Central New York American High Shorts, based in Liverpool. They won the 2025 Webby's People Voice Award for the best comedy on social media. It marks the first Webby win for American High. Their studio is now known as Syracuse Studios. Its building also hosts filmmaking classes for aspiring creators. American High Shorts will be honored May 12th at this year's Webby Award ceremony.
The final installment of Jazz by the Lake is here. The Oswego Music Hall will end its spring season with a special show honoring the late jazz legend Chet Baker. The performance will feature Jeff Stockham, a talented trumpeter known for his work with big bands and orchestras across the central New York region. Stockham will lead a quartet through an evening of classical tunes, channeling Baker's signature sound and style. The concert will take place at the McRoby Civic Center this Friday starting at 7:30 p.m. Organizers say it's a perfect way to wrap up the season with timeless jazz, waterfront views, and a night full of unforgettable music.
Cornell University announced earlier this week that they will be canceling the performance of singer Kalani at their Slope Day event on May 7th. The decision comes after concerns were raised about the artist's alleged anti-Semitic comments made in videos, performances, and on social media. University President Michael Koltikoff said Slope Day is meant to unite the campus, not divide it. Kalani responded on Instagram saying the cancellation was about Zionism, not anti-Semitism, and called the backlash a played-out game. Cornell says a new performer will be announced soon.
Coming up in sports, it's Mike Neckers.
Mike, could you give us a quick preview?
Will close and a few teams are looking to make championship runs. Find out who after the break right here on WTOP 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
no.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Matt, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close up with that one.
Matthew,
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
Back in, my name's Mike Neckers, and we've got a lot to cover, so without further ado, let's get into it. The Oswego State Bucks boys lacrosse team is still searching for their first victory of the season, with their closest matchup coming down to the wire, where they fell short 15-12 against Corcoran High School. The The Bucks, who are currently sitting at 0-7 on the season, are set to play on Tuesday and Thursday of this week against East Syracuse Manoa on Tuesday and traveling to Central Square on Thursday in hopes of finally coming away with a victory. We'll now switch over to college sports, where despite not currently being in season, SUNY Oswego's men's soccer team is still hard at work. This afternoon, they faced off against the Onondaga Community College Lasers in an off-season scrimmage. After a hard-fought 90 minutes, the Lakers came out on top 3-2 with Tajay Ellis and Ian Husselbeck each finding the back of the net. The Lakers graduated 9 seniors, including Kyle Genrick and Chris Smith, who led the team this year with 14 points each. The SUNY Oswego men's golf team hosted their annual spring invite at Oswego Country Club this weekend, and it was Mike Douglas leading the way for the Lakers. Douglas fired a 77 to top the leaderboard thanks to a consistent round with 10 pars and a strong finish. Teammates O'Neill and Lynch followed with solid rounds of 79 and 81, while the rest of the squad showed grit and resilience throughout. The Lakers were back in action today, but official scores are still yet to be released. And last but certainly not least is the Oswego State women's tennis team, who traveled to Binghamton for the SUNYAC Championship. And after beating Cortland in the semifinal, came up just short despite the loss. Oswego showed fight, including a 3-set battle from Emily DeLuca at number 4 singles. The team finishes a stellar season that included an undefeated start and 3 all-tournament honors for Isabella Eason, Avery Borman, and Leah Bell. And with the Oswego women's tennis team officially finished with their season, let's take a look at another team looking to secure their first SUNYAC championship in over 25 years. Madeline Cummings has the story.
In the midst of a record-breaking season, the Oswego Lakers women's lacrosse team is coming for a championship they haven't won since 1998. The Lakers currently stand undefeated in the SUNYAC Conference with a record of 9-0, finishing with the number 1 seed.
We're entering SUNYACs this week, so obviously the most important week of the season. But yeah, we're 14-2. It's been a great season so far, and the players have worked super hard.
With their first-place seeding, they end a 4-year streak held by the Cortland Red Dragons, who they defeated for the first time in their program's history earlier in the season.
It was exciting, very, I guess, nerve-wracking throughout the whole game, but, the team handled it really well.
In net for the game, Oswego goaltender Alana Yakovisi has accumulated 67 saves so far this season, but she and her teammates say it wouldn't be possible without everyone on the field.
I'm just the goalie. I make some saves, but I have a great defense. They don't let a lot of shots off. I mean, there's 2 games I played in where I didn't even see any shots because my defense was just really locked in. So, I credit most of my saves to them because they get the attack on the right position where their shots aren't great, so I can make that save. So it all comes down from, our goalie, Alana, and Ken's. We wouldn't be able to score the goals if we didn't have a great defense and a great transition through.
Going forward, the team is working on maintaining focus and doing better than last game.
I think we got our sights set on winning that title. We all want it really bad every day. Before every game, we always think who wants it more. I think we want it more. We know we want it more. So we just want to go in there with the right mindset, play with confidence, composure.
Wednesday's game against the Buffalo State Bengals poses the question, will the Lakers finally earn the opportunity to take their shot at the SUNYAC Championship, which they haven't won in over 25 years, or get taken out in the semifinals?
But, next week is kind of like a blank slate. You have to go in with a, positive mindset, but also a confident mindset where, we have to play our game and, it's playoffs, so anything can really happen.
For WTOP-10, I'm Madeline Cummings.
Thanks, Madeline, for that great story.
Of course.
Guys, es ist Gummibärgentag, which means it's National Gummy Bear Day in Germany.
In 1922, gummy bears were invented by Hans Riegel in Germany, who's also the inventor of Haribo.
Wow.
And guys, they were originally called dancing bears because they were inspired by the trained bears seen at street festivities and markets.
And just a fun fact, the largest gummy bear ever made was 3,809 pounds. And everyone, I have a little surprise under the desk here for Gummy Bear Day. I have some gummy bears.
Thank you so much.
That's all I gotta say.
Well, with the gummy bears, I think we have to ask, what's everyone's favorite color gummy bear?
Orange. Gotta go orange.
Orange?
I think I've got to go strawberry. The red?
Nah, it's pineapple all the way.
I'm a big green fan. I really like the green ones.
It's not ridiculous.
That's strawberry.
I mean, we can always split a bag of gummy bears. You know, we'll always have one for all of us.
I'm gonna keep them to my show. It's okay. That's our report for tonight. You know.
Be sure to stay tuned for our regularly scheduled programming.
Thank you for watching.
Have a great night, everyone.
Y'all want some?
I love some. Share the